welcome to my 1 millionth view live chat. Live chat on Wednesdays, kind of when I normally do live chats. And yeah, thanks everybody for coming. It's been quite a journey to get here to 1 million views, specifically on my channel, because I know I'm in a few other videos where my hey, my live chat screen is giving me ads. Hold on, I really gotta turn this off. Yeah, so thanks everybody for coming. I'm here in Whistler in British Columbia, and we've had a funky couple of days of weather. We were promised promised some powder, and we woke up nice and early, went out to go get some yesterday, and then when we got to the top of the mountain, it was all crusty and hard and pretty funky. So yeah, it had snowed obviously a little bit, and then it had rained quite hard and for quite a long time. You could actually see all the channels of the rain. If you're a hydrologist, you'd be going pretty nuts over it. It was kind of cool in that respect. Beautiful day, awesome to be up there, but the snow was treacherous. It was heavy. It was had a crazy crust on there, and it was a little bit like higher risk, because if you fall, it's a lot less compressible, so increased chance that yeah, if you fall and you hit something, it's gonna cause more of an impact to your body, to anything you're riding with, etc. And it's also harder on your joints too. It's a little bit tougher come the end of the day. When you're soaking your achy bones, you got to go on for a little bit longer. Yeah, so thanks again for everybody for coming out. I know it's you guys that are basically got me here in the first place. 1 million views. It's crazy. My dog is getting overexcited. I know people want to see Dot. She's currently on her back, shaking her tail around, looking like a silly dog. Hey girl! Right? I'll get her in something later. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming. I got some stuff going on down here so I can see the questions, as long as it doesn't matter so much when I'm turning. So I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out again. I know we got quite a few people on here. And of course, my coffee table is so low. This coffee table is made for really small people that like having their coffee super close to the ground, I guess. Yeah, so today in the live chat, generally, apart from just praising all you guys for being awesome and for coming out and supporting me, did want to go through some of the new gear that I have. Specifically, I picked up the new Salomon Malamutes, which I've had a couple of days on to test out and see how they're doing, as well as some new socks, which I know gets everybody excited. A new piece of hardware that I have, which is pretty cool. And I want to talk about different face masks and how they affect your riding when you're out in the mountain, because they cause different foggage and condensation depending on the thickness of the face mask, the weave, the orientation, how you're breathing, all that type of stuff. And my new jacket, I got a new jacket as well. It's the Volcom TDS. It's awesome, super lightweight jacket. It almost feels like a shell, but it's actually a full winter jacket. It's got some like NASA stuff going on in there. I don't know. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. I'm just gonna pop my laptop up here for a second just so I can run through everybody and say hey, because of course this is about y'all. Oh, and by the way, check it out. Storm Chaser, all fixed up. Thanks Underground Tuning. And then also got a nice tune on it as well, and a new fresh wax because it needed a little bit of love. You know, sometimes you get favorites with your boards, and this one kind of fell out of my favor a little bit, and it needed a little bit of love, and I think we're back on talking terms, being that snowboard now. Okay, well thank you everybody for coming out. I know Adventure Carlo's here. Thank you for coming. Boredom Stew. Thai person. Thank you. L Stacker Adventures is here. Adam's here, hiking out from Symphony. Sweet. So if you guys aren't aware of the geography of Whistler, which you might not, Whistler Mountain there's kind of the main part of Whistler Mountain, and then there's Harmony Bowl, and then there's Symphony Bowl. And if you get stuck out in Symphony, there's no real way back apart from doing a little hiking and snowboarding and hiking and snowboarding. So it's a great place to go, especially for sunsets. I know today was a beautiful day. The snow conditions were something else, but the actual weather was amazing. So cool, Adam. Hope you're having fun out there. Manolo's here as well. Thanks, Manolo, for coming out, dude. Really appreciate it. Mr. Peelover Sporting and Vlogs saying, how's it hanging? Louise Hatton is here. Louise is in my bubble. She's part of my really tight bubble here. Being single person, I got Louise in my bubble and I got Andreas in my bubble. And that's my bubble. So Louise, thanks for coming out. She wants to see Dot. I think Dot's sleeping at the moment. She peeked and then she dived. Cameraman Snow's here, dude. Thanks for coming out. Wayne McKenzie, Chris Heinrich, Patster, Snowbirdie, Rob McWilliams, Perry Pang, Carrie is here, Sublime Honeybee, awesome, and Just Shang. What's up, what's up? Thank you guys for coming out so much. Yeah, it's a pleasure. And everybody else that's out there that hasn't said anything, I hope you guys haven't had a chance to ride soon. I know times are pretty crazy at the moment. And yeah, snowboarding is definitely been key to my mental well-being over the last few months, and even just the prospect of doing it as well has really helped me out. So snowboarding has definitely got a new appreciation in my book about what it can do. It is amazing, and I am now a follower of Snowboardology. I've come around, and I'm now a pious follower of Snowboardology and Andreas and all of that. And out in Kybers, we actually did our first run in the area of Kybers day before yesterday on the first hike up peak, and that also was pretty hairy. It was a little bit warmer, a little softer snow, but yeah, I just want to get to a couple super chats as well before I get into it. Thank you so much for the super chats. It definitely helps. Of course, the best way to help us support the channel as well is just by sharing videos. If anybody you think that would like to subscribe that might not know about it, throw it out there, because you never know. You know, I know I'm not the best snowboarder, but I like to, you know, go on adventures and do wacky stuff and hopefully make interesting videos for you guys. So really hoping to break that 10,000 subscribers before Christmas. That would be like a Christmas present from all of y'all to myself, and yeah, that's definitely something I'm trying to do. I think I'm gonna get there. Yeah. So sharing is caring for sure, and then also I have a Patreon which I'm terrible at keeping up on, but if you want to help support, there's also Patreon. You guys can super chat and support from there, and then I really should do some stickers and some shirts soon, I know, but I just can't decide on logo because C Vlogs is already taken, and that's what I was gonna do. No, I wasn't gonna do that one. Yeah, but I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for an inspiration, a moment of like Doc in Back to the Future where he hits his head on the toilet and he sees the flux capacitor. That's kind of the thing I'm waiting for. Maybe I'll hit my head on a rail or a tree, hopefully, of course, wearing my helmet, and then I'll get a vision in there. Of course, if you guys have some cool ideas, then feel free to send them on, and yeah, it'd be cool. And I do hope to get some stuff, stickers and shirts and beer cozies and blankets and throws and pillowcases and all of that jazz. Yeah, okay, so just get into it. Bad Riders, Adam saying Chris is a legend, have some Aussie dollary news. Thank you, good sir, coming in hot with a big super chat. Thank you so much, Adam. Been a big fan of the channel. I know for a long time and following over when I was doing some more stuff with Snowboard Pro Camp. So pleasure for that you've been coming along and joining in and helping out, and really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Who knows? I feel like 2021 could be might just be a different year to 2020. Who knows? Chris Heinrich had a super chat. I just want to jump to that. We said, congratulations on the 1 million views, Chris. Highlight of our Whistler trip was getting that running with you. Taller coffee table fun. Thanks, dude. Yeah, so Chris Heinrich, also a super long fan of the channel, and he was out here with his family last year. Last year? 2 years ago? Oh man, time flies by. But I went riding, yeah, got a couple laps in with Chris, got to hang out with him in the village, and that was sweet. It was super cool. Yeah, and Chris reached out and helped Kevin build the Snowboard Program website originally. That was kind of how he was adopted into the inner echelon. So if there's any other graphic designers that want to get out on some trips, this is the way to do it. Just design me a logo and you're in the club. Sublime Honeybee, I'm just going to run through a couple questions while I'm here. Sublime Honeybee said, hey Chris, wondering, I've been hearing rumors that people are driving up to Whistler and being stopped by cops and ID'd, if not, locals asked to turn around. I've been hearing some stuff. I don't know. It's all through the rumor mill. But I have heard that they are turning people around if they didn't have winter tires and things like that. So, yeah, kind of trying to stop people doing that. Reese Milburn saying, is that the new solution I see behind you? It is. This is the 160 wide. And I just picked up some skins from the other day as well. The Jones Nomads size. They do weird sizings as well. They don't do like small, medium, large, or it's like group F, I believe. So I got my skins and I got my my bindings. I got the Karakorums. I got my poles. I just need to get a better transceiver because I have the Peeps moment with the DSP Pro. Ah! I'm just gonna keep saying that every time that comes up. The Peeps DSP Pro. Ah! If you guys don't know, then just search that. Matt Kramer's coming to Super Chat as well, saying, congrats on the views, Chris. Happy to see your success. Thank you so much, Matt. Always leaving a comment and dropping a like, I know. So thanks so much for that. All right, so jumping in. These new Malamutes, the 2021s. Oh, I got them right here. So I was going from basically my Burton Photons, which are double boas, and they got the pull string on the inside, into these, which just have a singular pull on the inside, and then they have a lacing system at the front with a lockout on the bottom one here, a lockout on the top one, and then they have this thing that you can kind of tie in your laces to keep everything tucked away. You can actually remove this as well. You don't actually need this thing here if you just want to go full laces. You can cut off the tab. I would probably suggest replacing the laces altogether because I don't think this is New England rope. Let me just tell you that, Solomon. This was Burton because I think I saw a tiny bit of fraying already on one of my laces. But I do like the style. It's got this kind of matte look. It's got different colors depending on the size, and yeah, it's black. It's got a sole. It's nice. And then just to talk about the stiffness, they're going from pretty stiff. Okay, those are done up. So to be fair, I should do it my old Photon that I got here. Otherwise, that would not be fair. These have been out of love recently, let me tell you. These Burton phones, so I've had about 100 plus days on these. They've had a lot of use, a lot of hiking in them as well. So, wow, there's so much more flex in that. Hey, yo, it's like the witch in Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz, peeling up. All right, so super noodly, much stiffer. Here, I'll try to get out the inner liner. Oh, yeah. You can always tell. Well, I feel like you only really know your boots for the first time when you take out the liner and then put it back in, because that's pretty, that's the kind of gauge right there. Ooh, I'm trying to move my wrong thing here. There was a super chat I saw, and I don't want to miss it. Where is it? Saturday's Farm Stand coming in with just a $5 super chat with no message. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. I'll get back into my boots. So they got this kind of funky bass on it. That's cool. Now they came with these. These are the Ortholites. They have no arch support. Andre says he likes these because they mold well to his foot, but I don't know, they seem terrible. So I changed these when I got them, and they're already very stiff. But you get 4 little boomerangs too that you can just shove down. I'm not even sure if that's the right way. Up or lower. Sure. And then you get extra stiffness. And I guess with this too, you know, when your boot starts to get a little bit soft after a few weeks, well, you know, 10, 20, 30 days riding, depending on how you're riding, and you start to lose some of that stiffness in there, you can kind of boost it up, throw some of these in, and regain some of your stiffness. Regain some of your stiffness. Sounds weird. So yeah, super happy with the boot so far. I'm usually a bit of a, you know, nobody likes switching their boots. And with these ones, like any boots, it's always just a case of trying to figure out the tightness. They're still molding to my feet. They're still getting used to my feet. It's still molding to the boots. It's a give and take. So it's riding in about 70-80% tightness and just trying to work them as much as possible. Keep that rolling over and get more and more comfortable with them. And this type of train that we've been riding as well, if you think about how the train affects when you're trying to wear things in, this train is very hard on the body, so it's also very hard on the feet with all that crunch, that crust. As soon as you go off-piste, or even on-piste, there's hard undulations that don't give way, and so it's very hard on your feet in general. A lot of point pressure on your feet, and good for breaking in boots, and it's still coming along. All right. So, I'll just have a quick look through some questions as I see NGen's here. Take a little break, you know. This is about y'all too. It's good to have everybody here. I see we got 44 people on the chat. Loving it. Pastor saying, can we get a closer look at the Storm Chaser repair job? Would like to know more about what went into it. For sure. I will do that actually right after I do this. Adventure Carlo saying, hey Chris, what's up? Al Stacker, In Motion LSLB is here. Good to have you. Everybody's checking in. Amy's here from Smithers, Bad Rise in Melbourne, Rob McWilliams in Calgary, Sacramento, Jose's in New York City and New City and New Jersey. Jose's a big dude, so I can see how he's spanning counties at the same time. All right. Yeah, okay, let's have a look. Logan Lucia, good to have you. Steve's here, awesome. Mert Ali Gundor, yeah, good to have everybody here. The beard, my beard is coming along good. It's been getting some treatment. I found also the beard, when it gets pushed up with the face mask and all that stuff on my jacket, it kind of goes a little bit, does something weird. All right, so let's have a look at the Jones Storm Chaser. So if you guys saw in my video, the Jones Storm Chaser got smashed. I think I just hit a deadfall, a fallen tree that was basically covered in snow and ice, mostly head on, and it caused the nose here just to split, kind of peel back like a banana peel. Hey Poochie. And yeah, it was pretty serious. I've actually done that exact same bit of damage at least twice before. I've had Brighton for at least 2 other times being repaired. So it's not that it's not been in there before. But a few things that affects us, obviously being the nose, is the part of the board that you're basically riding the least. You know, you're not really riding this part of your board in terms of putting pressure on the edge there, riding on that part of the edge. But structurally, it is very important, and a lot of the vibrations that go through the snowboard kind of like resonate or go through or affect the nose as well. So if we're going through chattery things, stuff like that, then it can cause the glue, which they used to seal it all up, and holding the base to the edge, just trying to hold everything together, a lot of different materials, that vibration can eventually cause it to kind of start to wibble off. But yeah, let's see if I can get a good view without smashing anything. So it's a little bit wider than normal. They basically just shoved a load of glue in there and just rammed it closed. But to be fair, that's not all just from today or the other day. Yeah, but from the front, looks pretty sweet. From the back, you can see a tiny little bit of deformation there, but barely noticeable. It does go maybe 10% wider. It just kind of nibs out. And the actual edge, they've managed to keep it, but it's cracked right in the middle. Quite a good crack there, and then a little bit over there as well. So, yeah, I'm amazed. It looks great. They also did a full wax job on it as well, and then they tuned all the edges. Johan, I brought it in. Johan, who runs the place, he's from Quebec. He's a dude. He's great just to go hang out with. He knows so much about boards, and he loves talking about them too. But yeah, I was in there, and he's like, "Hey man, your board needs some love. I can see. You need to get that board some extra love." So considering how I smashed, I know, sorry, apologies to all the Quebecois for my accent. Feeling bad for smashing the nose, I thought I'd give it a wax and a professional tune and get it all ready and good to go for when it fills in a little bit more and is actually better conditions for riding this board. Because really the problem obviously wasn't the snowboard. It was I was trying to ride a snowboard in a place that it wasn't designed to be ridden. This wants mellow trees, you know, mellow to medium trees, open, cruisy. It doesn't want really technical, hot, like undulating terrain, early season conditions, riding switch, ice, nasty rocks, all that jangly stuff. Yeah, it's not so good for that. Cool, I hope you guys enjoyed that little tour of underground tuning. Definitely go and see Johan if you guys need any board love at all. And they also carry Dupraz. They hooked me up with that Dupraz that I tried out, the Mountain Workers, the other day. Beautiful board, Dupraz. Mwah! Hey, it's so good. And they're in the Sundial, which is right in the village near the marketplace. It's like 20 seconds from KFC. So yeah, go check them out. All right. Crisley Adams for the nickname. That sounds good. Logan Lucia saying make the logo relate to the beard. Yeah, maybe like a beard made out of snow on the mountain. I don't know. A beard, a mountain beards and snowboarding. I think that's what's got to be going on. All right. Just gonna bring this up here for a second, have a little read through. Amy was asking if they're comfortable for long days of split boarding. Are you talking about the Burton Photons? These old boots. These guys have been great. I've been doing some really long hikes in these. They're soft. The bindings that I use in Now Drives are quite stiff. And so I think that kind of is a nice balance. But I have appreciated, especially kind of early season getting back into snowboarding in general, having a really soft boot that I could go out for in a long time. And this noodle did it. Holy cannoli. Jose saying sweetheart. Yay. Stuart Johnson saying congrats Chris. Your dog. And he's saying what is your park board for this year? So I don't have The only board I've actually bought this year is the Jones Solution, and I have been looking at a few other boards, but I have not purchased any. And I am looking at park boards, but I haven't really narrowed it down or gone like too much into the weeds, just because at this time I'm focusing more on the all mountain / early riding. So I was actually looking more specifically for something kind of like the Mind Expander or the Orca. I really like the Gentem XY, but for that tree early season / like mid early season trees, tight turns, technical riding, can do a bit of switch, can land off of drops. A little bit of a jack of all trades, but focusing more on that like jangly, nasty early season. And so again, I don't really want to buy a new board to go and do that. So there are a few demos still for sale at Comore. So feel free to go down and have a look at there. And then there's also demos as well for sale at Underground Tuning as well. So again, you can get a 2-year-old Yes 2020 for pretty good. Anyway, they got some good stuff down there. So yeah, there's some good board demos because nowhere's demoing. That's another thing too. I wanted to try out a few different boards, especially for some of the local companies like Endeavor. I haven't actually spoken to Wired, but yeah, it's like companies aren't doing demos this year for obvious reasons. But it's a lot harder to pick a board when you can't demo. So park boards on the list, and one of those other boards. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. A few different things to think of. All right, Stuart Johnson's calling from Tasmania. Shamon. Mooshlog saying, love the beard, my man. Keep growing that baby out. Yeah, it's a hard one. You need a... Oh, what about one of those beard hairnets that you see fast food workers wearing sometimes, and then the face mask on top, and therefore you could maintain the beard separate to the mask so that they don't interfere with each other. Alright, C-Note, hey, what's up, man? Good to have you here, C-Note. Same 1 million views, congrats, Chris. Loving the videos, man. Thank you so much. Matt Craner's calling in from Winnipeg. Wayne McKenzie is calling in from Quebec. Not that much snow here. Hopefully, I hope you guys get some more. I heard maybe you'll be getting some this weekend. And yeah, I hope that gets a little bit easier with the old resorts, because I know that a lot of those over there are in the red zone. That's like the highest, most restrictive travel area. And if you're there, you're doing kind of everything out of your car, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, as long as the resorts do stay open. And it's tough, for sure. Amy Smith saying, what are your thoughts on Never Wet? Yeah, so Never Wet is a waterproofing product that you put on stuff and it never gets wet. It's kind of in the name. And TJ actually did a really good video on that, where he's never weed half of his split board and then didn't touch the other half. And it looked like it worked really well. I think it does depend. I don't know, the Jones has that new anti-snow covering on the top. Are you guys picking that up? I feel like I could do like DJing from grade 4. Okay, I'm gonna stop that now. Jones! Because the Jones is spooned, it didn't catch the board. Enough DJing on the solution. That was not the solution, or that was just creating problems really more than anything else. Dot's picked up with the interest. Are you gonna come over and say hi? You wanna come over here? Are you gonna come over here and say hi? Yeah. What do you think? Is Chris ever gonna get a Capita board? Kevin's got enough Capita boards for both of us at the moment. I don't need to. I was actually trying to go more local Canadian preferably BC, but not everything might be possible with just PC. But I do want to get a Yes board, and either an Endeavor or a Wired or a Prior. Prior would be sweet too. Overlanding is saying, hey Chris, what's up? Kaz is here. Congrats on 1 million views. And then Overlanding is saying, currently riding Battalion Funking board. Is it stupid to jump on an intermediate board for the season like a Battalion Goliath? Is it so? Basically, you're getting like a lot more bang. There's a reason that they're like advanced boards over beginner boards. Normally, it's based around stiffness of the board. Can be related to the speed, to the side cut. But normally, getting a stiffer board with more pop, kind of like more car, more board, more, more things that can potentially kind of shoot you off. So you have a lot more forgiveness in a beginner board, which is kind of what you want when you're in that learning stage. When you're doing a lot of learning, you want that forgiveness on landings and everything else. Whereas when you start to get into that more intermediate advanced, then your area of forgiveness doesn't need to be as wide because you have more practice and you're not doing such crazy things. So that's the only thing. It might kind of, it could help, but generally it's not the greatest thing to do. All right, La Dorada. Okay, coming up with a super chat saying, blue helmet, light blue goggles, with dot and mountains in the reflection, a beard, a red beard of course, and a spray of snow around the head in the shape of a C. That's actually really good. You got my colors in there, you got mountains, dogs, snow. That's pretty sweet. I won't lie. Thank you, La Dorada, and thank you so much for the super chat. I feel, okay, well, Dot just went into her bed. I know La Dorada loves the Dot, what would you call it? When she just sneaks in for that little 10-second hey-oh. But yeah, she's on her butt at the moment. I kind of created a wall here of extremely low coffee tables just there, and then gear blocking it, so she has to go around the long way. She's not figured it out yet. She doesn't have a reason to go figure it out, so fair enough. R.I.P. Diego's here saying what's up. Moosh saying go LibTech, the Robot Dream Boys just don't get the Orca. Everybody's got the Orca around here. Andreas's roommate just picked up the Orca. Andreas has got last year's Orca. Adam's here with the Orca. Kevin's got an old Orca. It's like potting going on. I'm not about that, you know. I want to get the killer. Wait, no, killer whale. Darn it! I want the gray whale that does long distances and cruises, and also eats fish. Are you gonna come out to Vermont? Probably not anytime soon, because it can't cross the border so easily. My brother saying, hey Chris, glad to see your channel is gaining traction. Curious to hear your thoughts on the LibTech Dynamo. Cheers from Surrey. I'm not actually seeing this year's Dynamo, but I think overall it's like a really solid board in that like intermediate advanced. I believe it has a C3. It's got a little bit of direction to it. It's all mountain, centered base, I believe, and it's like good bang for your buck. You're getting magnet traction on there. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Just in case, you know, magnet traction can be a little bit much for some people. I know we're having this discussion recently about what is too much when it comes to edge technology and helping you out. And most people like LibTech, but there is some people that think it is a little bit too much. You're trying to mess with Mother Nature and bend the rules of physics too much, and eventually you create a black hole and the universe will be destroyed. That would be awful. Yeah, Mitchell said, yeah, a lot of people do have the Orca, it's true. Bad Ride just got his Orca right behind him. Cass said, hit the ESG channel thing on the Burton boards. That's another thing with the Endeavor boards as well. The Endeavor, I think all the Endeavor boards, Not the Wired, but definitely the Endeavors, because I was looking at the Endeavor Archetype, which is their powder board. Two sizes I was looking at, they do a 160 wide and a 164, and that is their big swallowtail, but it's very much like the shape of a normal snowboard, a big snowboard, where the tail comes all the way around, and then almost like at the end of the tail, as like it's the extreme length of the board, that's where the swallowtail starts. So the swallowtail is extremely long, quite narrow, and goes up quite close to the insert point, but ends up being an extremely long swallowtail where you should, in theory, still have more of an ability to get a pop, to get a landing, to get more of an effective edge, more of a natural feel of a tail coming out of it, and more ability to ride switch to an extent, I would say. I mean, you can ride basically any board switch. You can ride that one switch, kind of. It's not the easiest though. In Motion SB saying Endeavor used to have the 4-screw system, but they changed it a few years ago, he thinks. Sash B saying, hey Chris, I'm 5'10", 150 pounds, and boot size tend to go 155, 157 Mercury. I think you should make sure your feet don't overhang and go with whichever one makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, because that's what it's all about. Like going with the one you feel generally longer is going to be more stable, and shorter is going to be more playful. So do you want to have that stability when you're going and riding crazy stuff, or do you want to have that agility and playfulness to nip through places? All right, all right. Chad Gibbs saying best arbor carver. I don't really know arbor boards, unfortunately. I'd like to know more. I actually wanted to get an arbor. Arbor boards are beautiful. Arbors, trees and whatnot, and lots of wood grain sticking out and then looking all nice and tree-fied. Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to mention, so lots of face mask stuff going on this year. You know, lots of coverings going on anytime you guys are indoors. In any high traffic areas. Actually, a lot of times when you're walking in the village, especially anytime that the gondola line is coming close through the Valley Stroll and you're walking near that, then face masks required. Getting on lifts, getting off lifts. When you're going to the toilet, face mask required. And anytime indoors, but if you're eating, you can take it down and then eat your sandwich and then put it up. So there's a few different types, and they kind of like different effects on your face, on your breathing, on the amount of condensation that I get on my goggles, and also the ease of use of flipping it up, flipping it down, that type of stuff. So covering from kind of thickest, we'll go with the Blackstrap first. This is actually a lovely one I got from TJ back in the day. Still smells like him, which is nice. And yeah, this one's nice because it has the adjustable bit on the front, which you can kind of play with a little bit. But I find it is a little bit harder with this Blackstrap, where it has the dual layer one as well. It has like a fleece kind of layer on the inside, and then, you know, kind of standard layer on the outside. A lot more condensation from this mask I found when wearing it, and especially if, depending on how the seal is around my mask on the bottom, if it's tucked up under the underside of my mask at all, then I do get a lot of steamage coming from this guy. And actually similarly from the Blackstrap as well. This one's just a simple over the head, and you can kind of adjust it just depending on where you want your head. If you want it more down, if you want it more up, if you want to show off your locks. But again, quite a bit of condensation. So recently, I've actually been wearing, this one comes free, complimentary, in the back of the Volcom jacket. And it's nice and thin. If I'm on the lifts and stuff like that, I like to wear this one. Not only do you get like a great seal around the face, it's really easy to maneuver up and down. And can really pop the beard out and make the most of the beard sticking out like this, which is always good. You really have to accentuate the beard at times. And I find I just get like way less condensation as well. All basically the time. Yeah, I like it. So, if nothing else, good to have a variety of face masks when you're out there, some different thicknesses, and just multiple ones as well. I've got 3 of these super thin ones, or thinner ones, and then I think 3 or 4 of the thicker ones. And I find I'll usually take at least 2 or 3 up the mountain. Yeah, it's 2020, be prepared. Always bringing up extra granola bars too. So many granola bars being eaten. Clif bars are out. Granola bars are in. Cool. Scott Barlow saying he loves big dumps. Mosen Luck smells like TJ. It sounds like a song right there. Saying, dude, my Oyaki Pro Club that I can't recommend it is money. Got mine from Evo. Nice. Bad Writer saying, Chris, what is the one thing you look for when buying a new board? The one thing, I think the important thing is to really figure out what it is you want from the board, right? So the more specific that you can get in the type of board, if you can narrow down what type of profile on it, if you want to go for a camber or hybrid, rocker, what type of shape, and the more that you can narrow down the type of board in your head, then the more certain you are that what you're buying is what you actually want, because otherwise old buyer's remorse starts kicking in there. And there's so many good boards. That's kind of what is my issue at the moment, is I haven't narrowed it down exactly what I want. But yeah, that's what I say is the first thing to do. Scott was saying, Chris, how's the power up north still snowing, or is there a wait for a few days like here in Utah? Yeah, we had what we thought was going to be a ton of snow the other day. Feel free to check out. I just put a video up about testing out my new Selman Malamutes and some crusty powder. We had like 12 hours of rain. We had a lot of rain, and the crust was the crustiest I've ever seen. Mooshlock saying, my bacon whistler hopefully about to get dumped on. I hope so. All right. Zertz is here. Good to have you here, dude. Austin Harlow saying, gotta go, keep it up. But thanks, man. Kimber's here. Glad to see you showed up. Oh, thanks, Kimber. Yeah. Well, I missed the last one. It's barely my fault. I was out snowboarding in the sunset with Kevin, and like, what would you do? Obviously, just bail and go snowboarding in the sunset. A couple other important buys. I don't know if you guys have heard, but I always figure with something, especially something like socks, it's always good to get the take of people that work in stores, because not only do they get to try out a lot of different socks, but also they get complaints and also praises of people that come back with socks, whether they like them or not. So you got a lot of different people, a lot of different opinions. And I went to go get the Stan socks, actually, with Eric Jackson, I think. And Andreas came over and batted them out of my hand and said, no, you must get the Descent or Nisid socks. So their whole thing is that they're basically doing socks that they don't do anything fancy colors, and they just make a sock that is amazing. I've only been in these a few days. The main thing that I like about these socks is that they feel thicker, but not in a bad way. Like, they feel stronger, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're a little bit thicker, but they just feel like they have a lot of strength in there. Because I had some old Burton socks that sucked. Just tore through. Don't get Burton socks. And so far I love those socks, so super happy with those. Moving on, just wanted to mention something about my lovely jacket, which was actually kind of like the present to me. I gave to myself after a million views, so thank you guys again, because you guys all got this jacket by being so amazing and coming on and viewing and liking and subscribing and just being general dudes. So this is the Volcom TDS infused jacket. It comes in a couple different colors. You got it in the blue, you got it in the black. But generally the main thing here is that it is kind of shell sized. It feels pretty compact, pretty small, but actually it operates like a Four Season jacket. So it's got stuff that happens in there that make it so that it can make a thin jacket, but it still operates like a thick jacket. And from what I've seen, oh, let's have a look inside. So you're looking for all these nice little maroony bits here, and these are the areas where they've actually put this down, the padding in, the amazing heat things, small amount of radioactive material, but that's where you're getting your heat from. And you can see at the bottom, right, nothing here, and over the back, of course. Oh, it's cool. I can see through it from this side. That's sweet. You can actually see the outline of the panels on the other side of the jacket. Yeah, and so I found that with this, I've had it out on a couple of very humid, warm powder days, a couple cold-ish days, and then a couple other kind of nice sunny days, and it definitely keeps me warm. I've tried it out before with just a t-shirt and thermal kind of layer underneath. There's a little bit more air coming in the top. Got to be careful with air coming in the bottom. I think just the shell nature of it, it kind of just like sits out. Of course there are pull strings and things like that. But yeah, it was great. It did a really good job of keeping me warm. When I got super hot, I don't know, they say something about, they just got panels, but it's like they got NASA to look at a jacket's airflow with panels, and they determined this was the perfect length for a panel, 23.4 centimeters. I don't know, but yeah, Ment's there. If you guys ever look for your secret face mask, it's under this little pouch, so have a look for that. It's got the Airbud stuff going on. It's got Reco built in. It's got the snow skirt. You can also zip it in if you have accompanying Volcom pantaloons, which I think I will look at getting into because the snow skirt is nice. And actually the material of this snow skirt is quite excellent. So hats off there. Yeah, I really like it. It's also quite simple with the pockets. There's not any like real pockets in pockets. It's just the four pockets basically. There's no inner pockets. There's no inside left pocket there. Just the outer big pocket. I normally do phone on one side, keys on the other side, and that's it. That's all I keep in my jacket, and it's sweet. And then it also has a goggle pocket on the inside here. Yeah, I dig it. It's sweet. All right. This is a extra large. I was worried about it fitting big. Yeah. I tried on the large. It wasn't quite big enough, but it isn't too long. It does seem like it's quite symmetrical with the length. I do also like the I don't know what we call them, the hand gaiters. They're quite thin. I think they're thinner than other ones that I've seen, so they're a little bit easier to slide on and off. And yeah, they just feel lightweight. I like them. Yeah, it's an expensive jacket for sure. Mooshlock saying, what GoPro do you use? I have the GoPro 8 at the moment, and I also just picked up this guy. I was thinking about getting the 9, but the 8 to the 9, like, it is nicer. For sure, the 9 does things a little bit better, but there's a few 360 views, especially out in like open bowls, ran with the buddies, and just the camera swinging around and grabbing different stuff going on. So I picked up the GoPro Max. I haven't actually tried it out because the weather today was terrible. I just stuck it outside of the gondola and I've yet to look at the footage. So, yeah, got that going on. And I'm excited to find some opportunities to take that out. And yeah, it was kind of, I don't know if you guys saw that snowboarding in the sunset that I did with Kevin the other day. He filmed it on his GoPro Max and I filmed it on my GoPro 8. And so it kind of shows you the two perspectives of what you're limited or what you can do with those two different cameras. Both are good, but having that option of the GoPro Max to choose different angles or not. Extra editing for sure. I'm gonna have to deal with the extra editing, but it does open up some possibilities. So I'm thinking that it would be useful for myself in certain situations, on certain runs, certain scenarios, but I wouldn't use it start to finish from the day. It would kind of just be for like a little bit here and there. Better racing, how's that jacket with weight? With weight, like how does it feel? Yeah, it's kind of like Scott was saying, like it's not like a total shell because there is some insulation, but the insulation is really thin. And as you can see with the panels, it's not over your whole body, so certain parts of your shoulders, on your side, around your hips, around your love grab thingies, not so much. So yeah, compared to the old, you guys know that old blue Vulcan one, the darker blue one that I was wearing before Kevin's old one. That one feels totally different. That one feels actually like a winter jacket, like stuff doesn't want to move, like it's kind of creeped all together. Whereas this one definitely feels a lot more like a shell, and when you're moving around, it's, you know, it's freely moving, it's crinkly. It doesn't really like limit. I don't feel like it limits me at all. Whereas that old one definitely felt a lot more like it was some kind of oppression, chains and repression holding me down, not letting me snowboard to my maximum potential. Saturday's Farm Stand is saying, how is your brother Dave? Dave is good. Dave, hey, how do you know my brother Dave? Dave used to teach snowboarding here, and actually, yeah, he was lead hand. He's how we got to know Kevin. That might be how you know, because Kevin talks about him. But yeah, was Kevin's boss. Not really boss, because he was like the lead hand and not the actual supervisor. He's kind of like the TA, really, for the ski school. And yeah, he's doing good. He's in England. He's got some kids. They're living out in England, doing English stuff. Just trying to get through all the lockdown, all the stuff going on. Brian P saying, hey guys, any thoughts on foot pain? I get this pain on my downhill side of my foot. I was thinking about changing the angle of my bindings, but didn't know. Yeah, I was having to think about this. A lot of people obviously get foot pain, and foot pain is a tricky thing because a lot of times I think it's just trial and error with your body. It's hard to, you know, for you to describe to me and for me just to say, oh, go and do this. You really have to get out there and try a few different things yourself and see what works. But things that I think you should try, the binding angles are a good one for sure. Just you know, mixing around a little bit. Obviously you don't want to go too extreme. And you were saying that you're putting it down. I switched it now. But yeah, if you can get less, if you're gonna go more directional as well, if you can mellow out that back leg a little bit and not get too much on the front one, that's good. But I've actually found that a lot of the times, only more so than what people might think, that you get that foot pain because your stance is too wide or too narrow. And so because you're not only incorporating stance switches off, but then you're also changing your feet angles. And so what that can do is just put pressure on your feet and on your legs, hips, whole body, and in ways that are not the best, most ergonomically friendly for your body. And then what that can do is cause pain in parts of your foot. So I would definitely think about just playing around with the width of your stance as well. See go check out what your stance is on your board, how wide it is. Maybe see how wide other people's stance is with similar height and weights. And then just try playing around with that a little bit. High back settings can do it too, and of course your boots as well. It can be that you don't do your boots up. I've found that if you're getting like arch pain, I know you didn't say that's what you had, but a lot of times that can be because you aren't doing your boots up tight enough, and then you're over tightening your bindings to compensate, and then because the boot isn't actually holding around your leg and transferring that power through your leg and not just through your foot and your ankle, then all that pressure is going through your foot, and you're basically just cranking it to maintain that arch. So there's a lot of different things to try, and I would just say switch them up, take it easy, and think about also when you're riding what type of riding you're doing, what type of conditions you're riding in, because it's not going to be the same. And just don't think it's going to be unfortunately, it's not always an easy fix, but when you do get it right, it is worth it in the end. So just be persistent and try out some different stuff, and hopefully it works out. Word. All right, we're coming up to an hour. Good. Boredom Sue saying, have I ever ridden any of the T-Rise boards, the Gold Member or the Pro? Yeah, the T-Rise Pro. That's one of the ones that I love to ride. I've ridden the Orca, which is a T-Rise board, I guess. And I've not ridden the Gold Member or you mean the Project? It's not the Project X. Is it the Project X? Whichever one is, that is the one above the Gold Member, I think. No, I have not. But I would like to try. There's so many boards out there. It's nuts. Oh, Dave was in some videos. Yeah, Dave was in that, the best Bluebird powder day ever. That one was pretty funny. Scott saying, everyone hit the like button yet? Yeah, guys, feel free to smash that like button. If we can get above 60, that would get me feeling real hot. Tell ya. So smash that like button if you haven't done already. And we'll keep going for a little bit. I know I'm 3 minutes away from that. An hour. Again, I would just like to thank everybody for coming out and supporting. 1 million views is pretty cool to do on my own channel, obviously with everybody's help. Kicking in and watching some of the more stupid videos that have come out, and some of the more excellent videos that I don't mind saying. So I'm glad that you guys have come along, and for this season, I am kind of going all in with the videos and trying to do as much stuff that I like to do as possible, and hence a lot of hiking and adventures, but also some other things that I think you guys will like reviews and counting to 1 million. that was like Mr. Beast did that. But thank you again for all the love and the help, and it's awesome. And thanks for the potatoes and the aubergines and courgettes and the koalas. It's awesome. Yeah. SH saying, can you guys go boarding yet? Europe is still in lockdown. No resorts are open. Yes, so we have been open here for a couple of weeks. We are part of the Vail Resort, so you do require to have a reservation before you do it. And speaking of the reservation systems, they seem to be working well enough. There's been a couple of days that have been fully booked that people haven't been able to get onto, mostly the weekends, but generally every other day people have been able to book on. Even on the morning of, if there's space available, you can just hop on, see if there's space available, and then go book the day. Some of the kind of quirky things that I've noticed, that when they open up the booking days, which case is normally I think it's Thursday at 1 p.m. here. Kind of the mountain stops. So last time happened, Kevin and I were out hiking, doing that sunset hike, and all the hikers, everybody that was out there, literally just stopped and got their phones out, and we're like, what is going on? These guys are more addicted to social media than we are, and we well, because we were too busy hiking. Just everybody's just jumping on the reservation site. So by the time we got on there, we were behind a few thousand people. Still managed to get all the days that we wanted to get, but by having that singular time that they open up for all their resorts, it does create this like mad rush at midday on like a Thursday, and everybody just goes on and deals with the Mad Max style, and then hopefully comes out the other end with all their days. And in terms of canceling and not going up, I've missed one day so far, and I haven't seen anything bad happen to me because of that yet. No shady people showing up outside my door and threatening me. Another thing, of course, they would never do that. Vail is such a lovely company, and and then I canceled yesterday with all the crazy weather, and I went today. But yeah, you do kind of feel like sometimes you have to go up, which can be good. If you know, in hindsight, usually going and doing stuff is always great. But then on the other side, it can be a little bit stressful if you're rushing to get up and then you don't, or you just manage to. So yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely quieter on the mountains, and it's like if there's a powder day, it's crazy busy because it's just a lot of locals. So everybody's like super keen to go. But on the other days where the snow isn't so good, then it's pretty mellow and it's not really, a big stretch to get up in the morning or even at the lifts. Today I was riding on Crystal Chair, which is probably where most people would want to be going to. And I could just ride straight on, and there was like a couple people just kind of dilly-dallying around in the lift line. And it was sweet. Then the snow was super crusty and icy. But I got to go ride down Ridge Runner, which is one of my favorites. I didn't go down Twist and Shout, unfortunately, which is another favorite just because it's still out of bounds, and I don't want to go out of bounds because there's lots of unmarked obstacles, and you wouldn't want to go and interfere with any of those. But yeah, hopefully we got some snow coming up this weekend. I'll be able to get this bad boy out. I do have also, right here, I know I showed these before, but I'm really keen to get them on, is my Karakoram things. Haha! So, these go on the snowboard, and they let you slide and make a good snowboard time, and then you can make it into ski. And there's actually quite a good beginner, well actually there's several really good beginner ones right off the mountain. There's uphill routes available at the top of Crystal Chair, at the top of 7th Heaven Chair, and at above Green Chair going up. Not Picas Traverse. So there's a few great uphill access points in order to test out split gear. If you guys wanted to have some access to try out your split gear, pop up to Whistler. If you can, don't pop up to Whistler. You should only be riding within the area. If you live within Squamish or Whistler or Pemberton, come up to Whistler with your split gear and practice. And then there's another good one behind my house, which is a little bit longer, and we're gonna need the snow coming almost down to the valley. But is the one I did, that's like the 8-hour snowshoe hike I did with my dog. That one, my neighbors actually did it on skis, skinning. So that one is on the list, but we need less rain at the top of the mountain in order to do that, which is not that unheard of in terms of demands needed to go splitboarding. But yeah, I've been doing a ton of hiking. Yeah, get hiking, guys. I think the hiking is probably the least favorite thing to do, and the only thing that actually got me more into the hiking was having the snow coming down, because the motivation, the 2020 motivation to go hiking in the middle of the summer after they just closed the resorts was not very high, and yet the only thing that saved me was the resorts actually opening or getting to the point where they could open, and that was the motivation that helped me to go hiking. And just recently, don't tell Kevin, but when we did that hike up 7th Heaven, we did it twice. The second time we didn't go neither times we went all the way to the top because the upper access out to the area that we wanted to go to is closed at the moment, so we can't actually go through there. But we can go through the lower access, so you don't need a hike as high to get to it. And on the second hike, coming back in the sun for the sunset, we just kind of busted a gut up there, and I was doing sweet. I got in my flow, and Kevin, being 2 weeks locked away and just not hiking as much, he was not doing so good. So hiking and electrolytes are my two key pieces of training. And having mobile ankles, ankle mobility, who knew it was such a great thing, but apparently it is. And I never knew people were so jealous of my ankle mobility before. Alright, just having to look through a couple of questions. Thanks everybody for coming out again. 1 million views, although now I'm actually on like 1 million and like 60,000 because the channel is just growing at the moment. We hit 9,000 not too long ago. We're already on almost 9.4 thousand. 10,000 is coming in, and then we will reach critical mass and we will explode off into the atmosphere slowly behind all of the other ginger snowboarder and YouTubers. Cookie Cracker, good to have everybody saying what is my stance. Normally I like to do 15 and 15, 12 and 15, I would say, maybe sometimes 12 and 12, but right around there. I usually do like to keep it twin, and about 12, 15 is what I found comfortable. What's your stance? More importantly, for me, because I already know my stance. Robin Glenn saying Canada is pretty much, is open pretty much everywhere now. Yes, although weren't they just doing something out in Alberta? Where the ski resorts are staying open, but I don't think some other businesses were quite so lucky. Alright. When you end your knees, you want them to be in line with your feet. Yes. Chris, did I get the board of my... Yeah. The Storm Chaser is actually a super easy fix. It's only about 40 bucks or so, and basically they just put a ton of glue in there and they just clamped the heck out of it, just put a ton of clamps in. They were saying that they may have needed to remove part of the edge, which you don't really need there. In fact, LibTech boards don't have an edge in their nose, and he said it was related to do with the vibrations, and that having an edge there, especially if it's not really attached to the rest of the board, can cause extra vibrations, which is what could lead to the glue and other parts of the board starting to come unloose and stop the repair from working. So they kept that part of the edge, which is good. Most everything in the nose is still there, and it just is a little bit, tiny little bit fatter. And it got waxed as well. And tuned up. Yeah. There's a little bit, you can see a little bit of glue. See a little bit of deformation on the back there. Yeah, she's sweet, and she got some love, but she got fully tuned. Edges are looking nice and sharp. That's great going into underground tuning. You're just getting all the lowdown. I was feeling it today. Because Johan's like, look at your edges. He's from Quebec. He's like, if your edges are too rough, they slow you down, and even if your base is fast, but you have that rough edge. And that's what I felt like I had today on my T-Rice. I had the fast edge, the slow edge, and the fast base, and you can feel it. You can feel that resistance pulling you back. Yeah. All right. It was a lot of glue. Yeah, that's like the third or fourth repair that they've done. It's always been the same one. The first time that I did it was actually riding Kybers, where it's a big nose. And when you're riding in powder and you're riding in really tight areas, it's hard to see, and know exactly where it was. And I just nicked it off a tree, a very solid tree, a tree with no bark. It was just all stump, or at least the hard part, and I just glanced it, almost going across, or maybe it was a kind of a glance hit, but it just just caused a little bit of a indentation, a little bit of a deformity, and then it kind of went from there. And this is the third, fourth year I've had that snowboard. Third year. And I've had a lot of good days on it, so I don't mind what I've done to it. I've had a lot of good time out of it. And sometimes you just gotta, ride your boards and just ride them, You can't think about the board so much. You gotta think about yourself and the board and see which one works out. We're above 60. Thank you. 62 likes. Can we reach 69 likes? Natural Diversity saying, hey dude, just wanted to give you mad kudos on your genuine energy and this milestone. Just discovered this beautiful sport here in Portland. Nice. I'm so stoked to enjoy the season. Cheers to you, homie. Thanks for the passion and content. Thank you, good sir. Yeah, it's not hard. Like with everything going on, it really puts things in perspective. And I have got a new perspective on how awesome snowboarding is. And I am just trying to go ride as much as possible within reason. It's still early season body. You gotta think, it's a marathon, so still riding most every day, but maybe not as many laps as I would like to. But yeah, conditions out there were pretty tough today, but beautiful again. If don't go up for the snowboarding, go up for the views, go up for the training, and go up for beating your brand new boots in and giving yourselves a baptism of fire so that when you do have a full day riding, that your feet will be fine. So there's lots of good reasons to go up there. You just want to be careful up there at the moment. All right. 69, dude. God, sorry, I'm just doing a Bill and Ted quote. Andreas and I watched the Bill and Ted 3 a couple weeks ago, and then for a week he had to put Bill and Ted references in all of his videos and all the guitar stuff. So I just have Bill and Ted on the brain. Plus, I'm feeling kind of duty. I got 1 million views. That's one reason to feel like a dude. But also just snowboarding and trying to share the love of snowboarding instead of through a guitar. I have to shred the gnar. I'm sorry I said that. That was a terrible pun. Bad Rider is asking me if I still play guitar. I do, but none at the moment. I actually got TJ gave me his electric when he left, and I haven't even played it because I didn't have a working amp. But now I have an amp. It's a British amp and a transformer, and I just need the cord. I need a cord to plug my amp into TJ's guitar. But I do have acoustic here, which I have not been playing recently, but I would like to. Pastor said, do you have a favorite snowboard film? I do. I would have to say it is Mac Dog Productions. Follow Me Around. More so the time in my life and the amount of times I watched that movie, the music, the lifestyle. They were all just dudes. It was amazing. They were doing all these crazy tricks. And I would just basically go snowboarding, come home, watch that movie. And that would be like what I would do for like the whole season and a few other movies. But yeah, especially that soundtrack, everything, like just knowing that movie from start to finish. But yeah, you had, I remember Jeremy Jones, the Street Rider, had Awesome Part 2 Chicago 26, 25 or 6 to 4. That was a really, really cool part. And now I'm getting put on the spot. I can't remember anybody. There was another guy with a snowboard, and it was all good. But yeah, what were your guys' favorite films? Do you have, obviously, must-have favorites? So you guys see the new Burton film? I thought that one was really cool. There's a lot of very feel-good vibes. There's a lot of cool tricks in there too, but I finished watching that just like feeling good about snowboarding. And the 32, that was a cool one. It was the 32. I was trying to think because I was getting people confused with other. It's hard when like you get multiple people collabing in certain writers collaborating in certain videos. Yeah. Oh, Absinthe more. Yes, that one is a good. There's a couple good Absinthe ones in the middle. More. There's a one. I know Giggy Ruff kept popping up in all of those. Yeah, there's some great music in there too. Um, there was also it's kind of funny. Is something I noticed with a few writers. I won't say anybody's name in particular, but where you see like there's always these certain phases of music where one year everybody's got David Bowie in all their movies, and then another year it's Chicago, and then another year it's like Rat-Tat-Tat or something like that. So yeah, it's quite interesting how you see people's opinion on music and bands and genres change after pre and post being in a snowboard movie. So they might not like David Bowie, and then it's in lots of snowboard, and then you're like, hey, listen to David Bowie, and they say no, Bowie, and then it's in all the snowboard movies, and then they're like, oh, I always love Bowie, Bowie's the best, but what about no, Bowie? So yeah, that's kind of funny. Optimistic, another very, very good movie. The Art of Flight. The Art of Flight was a very interesting one because I was actually living in Thailand on Koh Phi Phi on an island that was just all scuba. And the Art of Flight it would be like scuba diving and general, islandy stuff. And then the Art of Flight would just pop on every now and then, and everybody, no matter where they were from, they'd never even seen snowboarding before. The island is quite a mix of locals and Thais and expats and everybody. But you could even see like people that had never seen snowboarding before would see this and just be like blown away just looking at it. So yeah, props to Travis Trice, and then that pillow line, of course, that he did with the head cam is absolutely insane.